Hello everybody. This is Jörg Meyer-Brenken. I'm the Global Business Segment Manager for the sports segment here at OSRAM LS. And as Heike already mentioned, I would like to give you some insights on some modern lighting solutions for outdoor sports pitches today. So I suggest we jump right into it. I would like to show you some images of a very nice project we recently finalized in Mallorca in Spain. That's the Rafael Nadal Sports Academy. As you can see, this is just an example for a very nice center court pitch of tennis. But this project not only contains tennis applications, but as well a variety of different sports that all take place outside. So, for instance, basketball, soccer pitches. So you see, what I just wanted to point out is that with our lighting products, we can light up very different lighting applications in the segment of sports. And now I would like to jump into some basic requirements for good sports lighting. Then I would like to give you some detailed examples of what we've done formerly with traditional lighting technology, so metal halide technology, and what we can do now with LED. I would like to point that out and take the example of a soccer pitch, class 3. And in the end, I would like to show you some nice examples, some references of projects we've already finalized. Basically, mostly with LED technology. So the first question would be, how does good lighting for outdoor pitches look like? So what are the criteria? What do you, what is that you should look at when you are planning, designing, operating a pitch? So first of all, the most important thing is to fulfill the lighting standards, of course, so that you comply to the requirements of the bodies of your sports. And if we go into detail a little bit, then things like very good uniformity, glare limitation, a good flexibility to different usage. So if you have a sports pitch like a Muga pitch, so a multi-use game area that hosts different sports, then it's also important that you are able to adjust the lighting levels to the requirements of the sports you're just about to practice there. Of course, the carbon footprint should be really low, so high efficiency products should be used. A long lifetime, low maintenance effort are key points that are really necessary to operate a pitch in an effective way. And especially since some years, flicker-free light came more and more to importance. So that means that if we take a look at slow motion recordings, not only for professional broadcasting, but also if you record it with your smartphone, then you would have no flicker if the light is flicker-free when looking at the recordings in slow motion. And last but not least, very important, we would always try to keep the light emission as low as possible. That means by using asymmetrical floodlights, we ensure that we keep the light pollution to the upper hemisphere above the court, above the luminaire, as low as possible. So these are the key points, the key criteria for good sports lighting. So if we go a little bit into detail into some of them, so to fulfill a good lighting design, you need proper lighting distributions of the luminaires. And this is just a short example of two very different shapes of lighting distributions that we use to ensure that we have a good uniformity and a very low light emission. So for instance, in the upper right corner, you see a light distribution that is made to be put on a pole that is positioned at the corner of a pitch. And in the middle, there is one taken into consideration, that you have to aim very much forward into the middle of the pitch, but as well down at the poles. So this is just two examples of how different lighting distributions can be. And if you use them in the right way, you can ensure that the lighting quality, uniformity is really nice. One basic criteria of good luminaires that we use for lighting these days is that you have an asymmetric lighting distribution. So if you look at the upper right schematic picture of a symmetric luminaire, you see that the beams that are coming out of the luminaire are going not only down where we would need the light, but also to the front and even upwards. So what we see on the left picture is normally we would only like to have the light that is at the bottom of the dotted line. But in this case, if we use the wrong lighting distribution, the wrong luminaire, that means a symmetric one, we would have spill light pollution. So what we would always try to do is we would try to use an asymmetric luminaire that, as you can see, has a parallel appearance to the ground, and that means that almost no light can go to the upper hemisphere. That the useful light, and that is very much described on the next slide, is that the amount of used light is maximized, so that we avoid to have direct upward light, that we minimize spill light to the back and to the front, and that also the disruption of neighbors, that means of houses that are next to our sports pitch, is minimized as much as possible. Right now, I wanted to go a little bit into detail by looking at the example of a soccer pitch class 3. So what do we take into consideration when we plan such a pitch? Of course, we need to look at the norm. We need to look at at least in Europe, we would take the British standard or the EN 1293, and we would take a look at the sports and at the light level we need to fulfill. So in this case, we would look at class 3, 75 lux at 0.5 uniformity. Formally, we would design a pitch with an asymmetric luminaire that contains a 2000 watt metal halide lamp, and we would use 6 poles and ideally 8 luminaires. And that would give us around 110 lux at 0.68 uniformity on the whole pitch. So the question right now was, could we do that with LED luminaires as well? So if we look at this one, we can use our Floodlight 20 Maxi LED to fulfill the same amount of light that we formerly achieved with 8 luminaires. We could do now 12 luminaires of the FL20 Maxi. And this would result into a picture like this. So this is one of the first installations we did last year with that product. And the customer is quite happy. The result is really amazing, the players state that they are really happy to play under this light. One of the arguments that you would bring up is now that you use 4 more luminaires than we used before, which is a fair point. But I would say then that we over accomplish the necessary lighting level that is demanded by the norm. So the norm demanded 75 lux, and we always overperformed by applying around 110, 115 lux to the pitch. So this is, from a lighting point of view, nice, but it is not really necessary. And speaking of efficient operation and reducing the carbon footprint overall, we should try to make it to the point, and with 8 floodlights FL20 Maxi, we would exactly aim for 76 lux and a reasonable uniformity of 0.63. So we would comply with the norm, by having a one-on-one replacement if you look at the numbers of luminaires. So in total, or the overview of the two scenarios with LED would be, you could either aim for the same average horizontal illuminance as before with metal halide and save around 6 kilowatt on the standard installation, or you would go for the 8 luminaires LED, and you would really save almost about 10 kilowatt. So this is a reduction of more than half of the electricity you would need to light up the pitch and fulfill the norm. So you would be perfectly fine if you look at the requirements. Looking at the financial aspect of the three scenarios that we discussed right away. If you look at a new built installation, then, and we would consider all the investments and the maintenance costs that are obviously way lower if you take a look at the LED solution. So instead of a service life of 6,000 hours, we would go up to 50,000 hours. And the mentioned energy saving will lead to either a payback after 3 years if you use only the 8 floodlights, or 9 years if you use the 12 floodlights. So looking at a 20-year period, this would be the figures. And I know that 20 years is the lowest time period that a pitch like this standard football pitch would be operated at the same way. Coming away from the football example, there's more applications that can be lit up, and we have a very nice example that you can look at here. It's a skate park in Karlsruhe, and what we try to do here is to light up this skate park with as much energy saving as possible. Also, long lifetime was a requirement by the city of Karlsruhe. Minimize maintenance effort, and a speciality of this was the kids wanted to have light on demand. So the city of Karlsruhe made a workshop prior to this installation, and they were asked to build in a switch so that the kids could switch on the light on the skate park whenever they wanted to skate. That would also help the city to reduce the costs, because whenever there was bad weather, rain, snow, whatever, nobody would light up the pitch. So this was part of the energy saving program. And very interesting, the kids, so 12-year-old, 13-year-old kids were asking for flicker-free light. So they were even asking for higher standards than most of the FIFA stadiums in football have right now. Because they were making video footage of their own stunts, of their tricks, and load them up on their Facebook profiles. So they were sick of the flicker that they had from the streetlight luminaires that were operating at 50 Hertz. So that was very interesting to see that 13-year-old kids have these kind of high requirements for a sports facility that they just skate on. And so what you can see here is that we try to use these efficient floodlight. It's again the FL20, but in this case it's not the maxi version but the midi version. So we have different sizes, different luminous flux levels for this family. And as you can see here, it's a very nice light that the kids can skate at night. These are professional skaters that did a session for us, and as you can see here, we ensured that it's really flicker free. So in slow motion, you would really be able to pull your stunts. And here you can see that the light on demand was realized with a simple switch that we know from street lighting, from signs in the streets. And this is basically a timer that is set, and after 30 minutes, the light goes down and can be switched on again if necessary. So I think this is a very nice project. I think this is quite a very nice example of how LED floodlights can lead to, and a very nice interaction with the user. The control system can lead to smart use and energy saving and a low CO2 footprint. Yeah, we're almost at the end, and I would not miss to show you one of the bigger projects that we recently finalized. That's one of the football stadiums that we equipped with our floodlights in Norway, in Kristiansund. So this is also really nice, yeah, it's a UEFA approved Class C stadium with a traditional four-mast appearance, but as you can see here, uniformity and a very high lighting level is what makes this project unique. In this case, we used traditional technology, so this was done with our metal halide floodlights, R3 and A3 Maxi with 400 to 2000 watt lamps, and yeah, this is also how outdoor pitch lighting can look like. So if we come to the end and sum up what we need to take into consideration when we are planning to do a outdoor pitch, so we should always take a look, if we have different proposals on the table, we should look at the total energy consumption. I would always recommend you to ask for all the technical documentations of the product and all used components. So the technical documentation should be very transparent to you. The quality of light is very important. So look at the color temperature, look at the color rendering, make sure the uniformity is right. Take always into consideration the time of usage you have and the lifetime the product or the solution is offering. Make sure you have a good maintenance concept. And when it comes to light distribution, light pollution, remember that you use decent lighting distributions, that you have a good lighting design. And when it comes to the future-proofness of your lighting concept, make sure that the components of your luminaire can be exchanged. That means drivers, LED modules should be in a way mounted that they can be exchanged, that if there is problems, you don't have to change the whole luminaire and make the complete investment again, but that you can have the modules and the drivers changed separately. If you look at pitches that have different usage, make sure you have a control system that takes that into consideration, that allows you to switch different lighting levels and different sections of pitches. And if it's really a big installation or you're the manager of a sports park, then make sure, or you are you're a municipality and operating various pitches in remote locations, make sure that you have a monitoring system that is stating you the status of your installation, that helps you to plan your maintenance and make sure that you are always aware at which status your lighting installation is at. So at the end, there's a nice picture of the FL20 Maxi. So that's the biggest of the family I just mentioned. Yeah, so thank you very much for participating, for your interest. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate contacting me directly. And yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak today.